So this question is actually it's kind of we've split up the question. It's from Electo because they ask kind of a bunch of sub questions.
Yep.
But they are feeling like they're potentially doing a bit too much. They're kind of doing overkill with their sentence mining.
Sure.
And they want to know how much you should look up. What do you do if you don't know more than one word? How many things should you add to Anki per day? Definitely a little bit of nervousness. So the first thing I'd say is like, you're probably fine. I said relax with it a little bit.
Nope, if you don't do it perfectly, you'll never learn the language.
Fair enough. Next question.
Should I not joke about that? I don't know.
Probably not, no.
All right, fair enough. People take it too seriously.
Yeah. But what would you say for sentence mining? How much is a good amount? What is a good feeling for how many words you're looking up, how hard it should be, how long it should take? That's another question I saw earlier today. Was also somebody's like, I'm taking XYZ minutes to do a 15-minute episode or something like that. It's like, what is too long? What is too much?
Yeah. All right, so, and the first thing is sort of just a general awareness is that anything that's important to learn in a language will come up again. So you don't need to learn it the first time you see it. In fact, you won't learn it the first time you see it. And if it's important, it will come up again. If it doesn't come up again, it wasn't important. So you don't need to be saving every single possible word or sentence that you don't know or don't understand. That is definitely overkill. Now, the amount that you do end up saving is very dependent on you, because some people really enjoy the process of creating and studying cards, and other people absolutely hate it. So, general rule of thumb is about 10 new things a day is about how much you can really learn and retain. And those new things can be new words or new senses of those words used in specific sentences or new grammar patterns. But in terms of like sitting down and actually studying a set of things, 10 new words a day is pretty good and will get you into a good rhythm that as long as you keep doing that, you will eventually reach the goal. If you are doing an enormous amount of immersion, like 8 hours a day, definitely like above 10 is fine. But for 1-2 hours a day, 10 is sort of where you should be maximum.
For normal people.
Yeah, for normal people.
10 is a good number.
I actually, like, 7 is my happy place. Like, 7 new things a day is sort of where it's not too stressful, but it's still challenging. That's where I try to sit. Now, in terms of...
For a really long time.
Yeah.
Eight new cards a day, 8 new mind things.
Yeah, and if you find yourself like really burning out, drop it down. Like drop it down to nothing until it becomes easier, and then like increase it slowly again. Don't worry about trying to always be at 10. And on bad days where just like I just don't really feel like doing this, like turn off new cards and just do the reviews. That's fine too. We're really aiming for sustainability. You don't want to push yourself ridiculously hard on a day where you don't have the energy and burn out and then not do it going forward.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then there's a question of how do you actually do sentence mining? And there's a bunch of different ways. There's synchronous sentence mining, where you have tooling, or you're just copying and pasting, and that is creating cards as you're immersing. That process, the tools are getting pretty good nowadays, where you can see something, look it up, make a card from it in a matter of seconds, honestly. So if you've got all the nice tools set up, then getting your 10 a day should not be an issue. If you don't have the tool set up and you're just like copying and pasting into Anki, that's also fine. Like you don't need to have super fancy tools enabled. It just might be a little bit more annoying or a little bit more effort. And then I think what I was sort of picking up in the subtext of the question and with what you said is that people are thinking about the time that intensive immersion takes.
Yeah.
Or interactive immersion. And sentence mining is a form of interactive immersion, right? You're sitting down, you're looking things up, you're creating cards. And this, again, kind of relies on the individual, but it definitely takes longer than just, free flow. And so the question is, how much time should it be taking? We generally recommend between 3 and 5 times as long. So a 10-minute piece of content should take you 30 minutes to 50 minutes. That's what you should be aiming for. If you find that it goes substantially longer than that, then you are being a perfectionist, and you don't need to be a perfectionist with this. It is
Or the
okay
content's
to
way too hard.
Or the content's way too hard. Exactly. If you're coming across sentences where you don't know any of the words and you're trying to look all of them up, that's not a good use of your time. We definitely want to aim for sentences where you only know, or you're only missing one piece of the information to understand the whole thing. That's really where the target, where we want to target your level.
And if you're sentence mining, your interactive immersion is taking just a little bit longer than the runtime, then it's probably way too easy, and you're not really pushing yourself out of that comfort zone to get the benefit of sentence mining.
Yeah. So like, if you're only looking like one word up every, 5 minutes, that's definitely too easy for you to be doing intensive immersion with. Like, that's basically just free flow.
Yeah.
At that point, you can still sentence mine during that though. And I've absolutely done that. Yeah. So that's a much more relaxing thing. So if you're finding that sentence mining is super stressful, you may just be using content that's too hard. And if you do easier content, then it stops being as stressful.
Yeah. Good. I think we had enough in that question there.
And then one other thing is there is another type of sentence mining, which is asynchronous, which is what I do, because I don't actually really like creating cards while I'm immersing. I just like to immerse. So what I'll do is I'll just mark everything that I don't know as I go through, and then I'll do another pass and go through all the things that I marked as unknown and do the sentence mining then.
Cool. Well, thank you for the question.